Hi, my name is Raj Shah, and I'm the managing editor of Desh-Videsh Media Group and Desh-Videsh Magazine. Today, we have a guest speaker whom I know since last 50 plus years. He's the most dynamic, most talented, and most energetic person I ever know. His name is Samir Desai, most commonly known as a Sam Desai. Samir worked for Motorola for more than 34 years. He served as a senior vice president and general manager, managing over $6 billion business. Samir also worked as a chief information officer and senior president of Motorola from 2001 to 2004. After retiring from Motorola, Sam served as an independent board of director for internationally known companies like Larsen and Toubro and Welch Allyn. He has a master's in electrical engineering from Illinois Institute of Technology and MBA from Loyola University of Chicago. I consider him as a management guru who has applied Bhagavad Gita in a corporate world. Let's welcome Samir Desai.
Thank you, Rajni. And let me say something about Hinduism. I have been meeting people since I came to United States in early '69. And I used to ask them a fundamental question as to, hey, do we know what Hinduism is? But before I tell you that story, let me tell you this story, how I got to know about Hinduism. Please. When I came to USA, I did not know anything about Hinduism. And when I started with Motorola as an engineer, there was my colleague, freshman, and I was also freshman from the college, master's degree, and my colleague was also from Michigan. His name was Larry Rick. He started in Motorola at the same time. And what happened is he was a devout Christian, Catholic. So I used to do, we became a friend. And in those days, there were not too many Indians in Chicago. So I used to hang around with him. And I used to ask him lots of questions about Christianity.
And this you're talking about 1970?
1970, yeah. So one day, after asking him lots of questions about Christianity, he asked me this question. So tell me about what is Hinduism. And he bowled me, cleaned. I could not say a single sentence or single word. And there was a period, I felt very bad that I asked him so many questions about Christianity and he could answer it. And I could not even answer about my own heritage. So then and there, I decided that I am going to know more about Hinduism. And one thing is strange in this world. Anytime you make a decide or anytime you make a determination or decide to do something, guess what? The universe helps you to clear that mission. So as soon as I decided to to know about Hinduism, guess what? There was an advertisement in Chicago Tribune that Swami Chinmayanand was coming to Chicago 3 weeks after this incident happened. So me and my friend went to the Swami Chinmayanand Chicago lectures. We had a very lousy car. It would not even go, but I requested my friend to go there. And I said, let's at least attend the first lecture. And if we don't like it, we will not attend the rest of it because it was a 7 days lecture. So when we went there, I purchased all the books, even though I had not too much money, but that was available by Swami Chinmayanand. And then I started reading about it. And guess what? That's when I started developing an interest in Hinduism. And I learned about Hinduism. So what I learned actually during that time was we really know what is our books of Hinduism? What is our fundamental books of Hinduism? Well, it's called Vedas, and it is written by Rishi Vyas. Now, you may wonder, Rishi Vyas has written so many books, 18 Purans, Mahabharata, and all so many other books, Bhashyas on Gita and everything, that one could wonder, how can one person write so many books? It is not possible. But if you read a literature written by Acharya Rajneesh or Osho, he has written almost books on every subject, on every philosophy, on every philosopher of the world. Okay, infinite number of books he has written. So then I was convinced that Vyas must have written this. Anyway, so there was Vyas wrote a Vedas. So he had 4 disciples. I'm just giving you this fundamental so that you understand all that. And the disciples' name was Rishi Jaimini, Rishi Pale, Rishi Vaisampayan, and Rishi Sumant. So he decided that to divide these Vedas into 4. So he assigned these 4 rishis to really do the division. So there was a Rig Veda was created, and it was created by Rishi Pale. Yajurved was created by Rishi Vaishampayan. Samved was created by Rishi Jaimini, and Atharvaved was created by Sumant. From this one giant Vedas book, they created 4 books. Now, Vedas are divided, when it is written, they are divided into 3 sections. There is a first section, there is a second section, there is a third section. The first sections are called mantras, that is written for the hymns to the Lord, to pray the Lord. Okay, so it's in a poetic view of the truth, written in a poetic form. Okay, second section is called the Brahmanas, which describe the ritual aspect of the life, what you should do ritually in order to really achieve the truth. And the third section is called Upanishad. Upanishad is where the nectar of the Vedas are. Okay. Now, we must ask this question. First, let's ask this question, what is Veda means? The Veda came from a root called Vid, V-I-D, Vid means to know, and Veda means knowledge. So fundamentally, we are worshipper of Rajni, we are worshipper of knowledge. So there is no religion. We are knowledge worshipper. So that's the beauty of our heritage. Okay. Now, Upanishad.
One of the Veda, it says, let noble thoughts come from all different.
Yeah, so I will talk about that. Okay, so then this Upanishad, where the nectars of the Vedas are. So one must ask the question: what is the meaning of Upanishad? So Upanishad is a compound word. It's a 3 words combined in one. So the words are Upa means near, like we do Upvas. Up means near, Vas means sit. So we should sit near God or somebody or higher authority or nature. Okay. And then here we start doing Upvas. Okay. But anyway, Upanishad means Up means near, Ni means below, and Shad means to sit. So sit, below, near. Now the question is, whom do you sit near, below? So either your guru or him or ultimate, and learn this knowledge of Vedas. That's where Upanishad is the nectars. Okay. And so this knowledge, is just to give you 2 fundamental mantras of the Vedas, to give you the power of or the universal truth that they have written in sentences. First is the one that I like is most. There are 2 of them. First is Ekam Sat Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti. The truth is one. Ekam Sat. Sat is one. The truth is one. Bahuda Vadanti, Vipraha Bahuda Vadanti means the Pandits call it by many names. Okay, so we call truth by many names. Okay, and that's the most powerful words of the Vedas. Second thing is Ano Badraha Rutuvantu Vishwata. Let knowledge come to you from every direction. Let your mind be not limited to biases or anything. Accept knowledge from every direction and grow yourself. That's our fundamental that we must really know. And that's our heritage. And we should be all proud of our heritage.
Well, now that's a very good introduction. And the subject like Vedas or Upanishad is a very, very complex subject. And the way you broke it down, where, the layman can understand, and, one of the most important thing I want to make sure, when I talk to Samir about this program, this is going to be, for a layman, where a common people can understand, what Bhagavad Gita is, what Hinduism is, and so forth. So let me start talking. Let's start talking about the Bhagavad Gita. Again, Bhagavad Gita, with the 700 slokas, very, very complex and exhaustive knowledge book. But can you summarize Gita in a few sentences, which applicable to the personal, professional, and corporate life?
That's an excellent question. And believe it or not, after given enough thinking of last 50 years, these are the 3 sentences that I have developed, or not I've read and I've come up with. The first says, okay, if you look at Bhagavad Gita from 50,000 foot, okay, and then look at this Gita, then there are 3 powerful sentences that comes out and then hits at you. The first is vision without action is imagination. Sexually का विचार है, अगर vision है पर आपके पास action नहीं है. If you have a vision but no action, without action is the imagination.
Right.
The reverse is also a problem. Action without vision create chaos. Wow. You can keep on acting it, but there is no vision. However, if you vision with the right action create transformation. That's what this Gita is all about. It creates a transformation of your life. Okay, and not only in thinking in corporate world, personal world, or any world, professional world. Okay.
You kind of started out with how you got into, Hinduism and so forth. And today we are talking about mostly Bhagavad Gita. So when did you start, reading or following Bhagavad Gita?
So it's 19, like I said, 1970, 71 is when I started reading Bhagavad Gita after I read the Chinmayan's book. Okay, by the way, Swami Chinmaya has written a very good book called Kindle Life. Okay, and that's a fundamental book that he has written about Hinduism. And if you read that, it gives you a lot of details about what our culture is all about, or heritage is all about. So I recommend everyone. And if you buy it it's available on Amazon. It is available in India. If you buy it from India, it's very, very reasonable, cheap. Amazon, it might cost you a little more money, but it's all under $20. Okay.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat that?
It's Kindle Life, Kindle Life.
Right.
And that's where he talks about it. That was the first book I read by Swami Chinmaya. Okay, and then it gives you fundamentals of all our heritages. So what, you may ask me this question, that what are the 5 important slokas of Vedas? I mean Bhagavad Gita. Now it is very difficult out of 700 sloka to select 5. So I can only say these are my 5 most favorite slokas that I love. First is the most important thing in my thinking. It says Udharet atmana atmanam na atmanam avasadayet. Atma eva hi atmanah bandhu, atma eva hi atmanam ripu. So what does it mean? Udharet, if you want to uplift yourself, okay, the Krishna says to us, hey, even though he is a god, he cannot do it. Okay. Because why he cannot do it? Because Atma eva Atmanam bandhu. You yourself is your friend. And you Atma eva Atmanam ripu. Ripu means dusman, it's enemy. Ripu. That's a Sanskrit word. Ripu means enemy. So you yourself is your enemy. So don't wait for God to come and uplift yourself. Be your friend and make sure you are not your enemy and rise yourself above everything. That's all. You got to do it yourself. Nobody is going to come and help you.
Yeah.
Second slogan that I like was the most important in my life. In which way? When I started becoming, because I probably you said it, but I did not get it. But I rose up to the senior vice president and CIO of Motorola once upon a time, and I ran a large business, $6 billion business. So what happened is that in my early life, I had this problem. When I used to go every day, there is probably 13 or 10 or 15 meetings, okay? And if you go from one meeting, the anger that, let's say one of the meeting you became angry and you got upset. Now, the problem was, how do I remove my anger when I go to the next meeting and not carry over that anger again,
Right.
And that fundamentally, I was thinking and thinking and thinking, I came up with this beautiful sloka. And he says, he talks about how do you control your mind. So Arjun asked very beautiful question for us. Really, he says, Krishna, you know why my problem is? My mind problem is you tell me to do the concentration and concentrate on things and events and life. But my problem is, he says, Chanchalaham Mano Krishna Pramathi Balvadram. My mind is chanchal. It's like a monkey jumping from one tree branches to another branches and constantly jumping. That's the first problem. Chanchalaham Mano Krishna Pramathi. Pramathi means mind is turbulent. Pramathi means turbulent. My mind is so turbulent that it goes in every direction. Just like when the hurricane comes or tornado comes, and you cannot stop that. It goes in that direction and you cannot bring it back. You probably all, I don't know, I have felt it, that at night, sometimes when we don't get to sleep, our mind is running all over the place. And in order to quiet it down, that is the only way you get sleep. So that is the problem, because it goes in all directions. Third, he says, point is balvat. Chanchalam Mano Krishna Pramathi Balvat. Balvat means most powerful.
Okay.
You can do anything you want and achieve anything you want if you put your mind into it. Okay. And the fourth is Dradam, means it's obstinate. So now these are my four problems. Our all four problems. Arjuna is asked to Krishna. And Krishna says, hey, Arjun, Asansai Mahabaho. Mahabaho means name of Arjun. Asansai, your question is, there is no sansai, there is no doubt these four problems of mind exist. Okay. But he says, he talks about Swadhyaya Abhyasana Vangmaito Vairagyana Uchate. So you can achieve with Abhyas, so it's study, and you can develop some Vairagya. Now it is very complicated to understand that. I have given a whole 45-minute lectures on mind itself. But he says very beautifully that how do you quiet your mind? Anyway, if you really read Gita, if you read Upanishad, if you read any books on religion, it says there are so many techniques you can use. You can use japa, you can use prayers, you can listen to the bhajans, okay, and you can do. But the most important thing that it explains in last sloka of chapter 9, okay, and he says that man mana bhava madhakto madhyachi masamviskuru. in order to control your mind, one thing you should do, Arjun, is that give your mind to me. It's so amazing that in entire Gita, Krishna has not ordered anything. He says, Arjun, it's either this path or this path, you have to choose. But several places he commanded, actually, several places, same sentence, okay, that you must do this, Arjun. I request you to do this. And that is, man mana bhava mad bhakto. You give your mind to me. Okay, surrender your mind to me. Now, what does that mean? Hey, if you take your mind to the at the feet of the divinity, your mind will quiet down. We have all experienced that. That's why when we go into temple, our mind is quiet. Usually, all this nonsense doesn't come. So he says, take your mind and develop this yoga and japa and bhajans. Listen to that and give your mind to me. See, the problem is, he also says that another sloka, this is, that what we do when we go to the temple, he says, Krishna says, patram pushpam phalam toyam. You put patra means bili patra, pushpa, you put pushpas on me, phala, you put your fruits to me, toyam means water, you put water on me, okay? But these are all created by me. What him, actually, right? So what are you giving which is yours? Okay. And that's why he says, give your mind to me. Means surrender into divinity and your mind will quiet down. Believe it or not, I have practiced that practiced this teaching, and my mind has really become quieter and quieter and quieter every day after 50 years of practice. Okay. Now, this sloka is chapter 6, sloka 34 and 35. So please read that. The first sloka that I told you, Udharet Atmana Atmanam, chapter 6, sloka 5. Okay. Now, the third important slok that I like, this is my personal choice, is chapter 2, so sloka 37. Just like Swami Vivekananda said, Krishna said it here, that Krishna said, Tasmat uttishta kauntaya yudhaya karuneshya. Get up, Arjun, get up, rise and fight. Because truth and nishchaya means you have to fight. That is your duty. You have to do determination and fight. So here I have come up this thinking that Jesus, if you really look, what is his central message? Jesus. He says, love is God. Okay. Gandhi said, truth is God. Mahavir says, ahimsa is God. Buddha says, meditation is God. I think here Krishna says, determination is God. So if you have a determination, you'll be very, very successful in life. That's what this is all about. Okay, so now we talked about 3 slokas here. Let's talk about 2 more. This is one of the most important sloka, I think, that will help you is how to rise in life or corporate life or whatever it is. Basically, we all know this sloka because it has been memorized by almost everybody. Okay, and those who have seen B.R. Chopra's Mahabharata, this sloka is the first invocation sloka that comes. Is that karmani vadikaraste mahaphaleshu kadachan. Now, if you really understand that, it says your right is to do karma only, but never to the fruits of karma. Your right is only for karma only, never to the fruits of karma. You cannot expect the fruits of karma. That's not your right. That's what Krishna says here. Now, how can a human being do work and karmas without expecting the results of it? Okay. So this is the dichotomy that he has created. Means he's asking us to think here that how do you do that? I'll give you my personal experience. When I was a junior manager, okay, I was so anxious to get promoted every 2 years, okay. So I was very anxious and I was impatient, okay. And every decision that I used to take, I used to ask myself a question: is this decision going to help me to get to the next level of promotion? The minute you ask that question, you are failed. You're not going to be successful because you are more worried about the fruits of what your karma is rather than worried about what is good for the company. So the first question you should ask yourself is when you want to rise somewhere, what is the best thing for your company? Then what is the best thing for your customer? Then what is the best thing for your division? And then fourth, what is the best thing for your unit? And the fifth, you are sitting there in a fifth in the line to worry about it. What do you sitting there fifth in the line? So basically, this sloka says it just gives you an answer to how do you rise in corporate America. And do not get impatient, do not get high expectation. Make sure that you understand this sloka very well, that it's not your right to expect the fruits of the karmas. Only your right is to do the karma. That means the minute you become impatient, guess what? Your life is doomed. And this is another beautiful sloka that many people don't understand. And if you read this interpretation is, I tell you that you will not find anywhere. It's a sloka, chapter 9, sloka 2. It says, Arjuna asked Krishna a question, beautiful question. It says, Krishna, teach me Raj Vidya. Means Raj Vidya means, how do I become a king? How do I become a good king? Good king. So teach me the Vidyas or knowledge for becoming a good king. Okay, that is the question he asked. And Arjuna, Krishna replies him very beautifully. He says, Arjun, this Raj Vidya, Raj Guhyam, Pavitramati Uttamam. This question that you have asked me is very pavitra, very pious, very best. Uttamam. But however, this Vidya, this knowledge is Raj Guhyam. It's as secret as the king becoming a king. It's a Raj Guhyam. Now, there is no equivalent word in English to explain the word Guhyam. But there is only one word that comes close to it, which is called subtle. This Vidya, this knowledge is subtle, S-U-B-T-L-E, means minutely observable. You cannot see with your naked eye. You have to think, you have to contemplate on it, okay? So when you do that, then and then you'll understand this Vidya. Now, you might ask me a question, what do you mean by contemplate, and what do you mean by Raj Vidya, and how do you look at this subtle thing? Okay, let me give you one example that was truly happened in my life. When I was a senior vice president, I was signing one of the largest contract for Motorola, $1 billion plus contract. Okay, so night before we were supposed to negotiate with the customer, my boss came to my office and my subordinate was sitting there, and he came to me and he said, Sam, if you sign this contract, I'm going to fire you. You know, that threat he gave me. Now, 90% of the people would have taken him literally, okay, and then said, you know what, I cannot sign it because my boss has told me. I took it exactly opposite. So I said, very next day I signed it. And then, because what I did is I thought about it. What is he saying when he says that such a large contract, which you have never received it in your life, and he asks you to say, if you sign it, I'll fire you. Let's understand one thing in corporate life. Nobody gets fired for doing the right thing. So what he was saying is, hey, make sure the company doesn't get into trouble. Make sure what you got to do is you protect the company as well as the customer. That's what subtle is all about. So don't take him literally. Go behind the hidden meaning of what he's saying. Okay, because that's 90% of the time what we do is we take all the things literally. We got to go to the subtlety of that issue and then understand it. Okay. All right. So those are my this sloka, Rajvi, I told you, is chapter 9, sloka 2. Okay.
So now, can you, because the people who are going to listen to this lecture, they are, a lot of young, Hindu Americans or Indian Americans. And so I want you to expand a little bit more, where, how you related Bhagavad Gita, to your corporate world. A couple
Yeah.
of more examples. Either with the, connecting with a particular shloka or overall message.
Okay. I told you about the corporate world, how you connected it in last couple of slokas, okay, that, when you look at it. So let's look at it. How do I apply it in my life? Okay. It doesn't matter whether you are a student, whether you are a senior, whether you are a child, but these are another few slokas which are my favorite, because it's very difficult to select the best favorite sloka. I love these slokas. So let's give you few more. The sloka, chapter 6, chapter 6, by the way, is the most important thing, where he talks about meditation, where he talks about controlling the mind, where he talks about what you should do in life. Very, very nicely written. And by the way, when you read Gita, don't read it. Just each sloka when you read, contemplate on it, think on it on your own. First, you read some commentaries, then you start thinking on your own. So anyway, this one few more slokas that I like is chapter 6, sloka 40. It says, Nahi kalyan krut kasyet durgatim tak gachati. Any karmas done for the benefits of the others, kalyan ke liye kiya karya, any benefits of the others will never take you to the path of destruction. Destruction. Never take you. So first, do the karmas such that they are all benefit to the society. Okay. Now I already talked about this Manmana Bhava, give my mind to me. Okay, that I already talked about it. Now, this sloka 18, chapter 18, sloka 63, how democratic Krishna is, he will give you an idea that even though he explained Arjuna 700 sloka, this is chapter 18 sloka number 63, where he says, Arjun, this is the path, this is the path. You have to choose. Except one place where he says, give your mind to me. Okay, that's the only place he commands that you do this, Arjun. So what is this sloka says? Yathechasi katha guru. Arjun, I've explained to all these things to you. Even though whatever you understood, it's up to you, but do what you feel like doing it. He gives you complete freedom to you. Athechasi tatha guru. Whatever you feel that's the right, do that. He never commands other than giving my mind to him. That's the beauty of, can you imagine any most democratic world he talks about it? Okay. Now, one may wonder what is Gita all about? What happened to Arjuna? See, this sloka is chapter 2, sloka number 1. Rajni, this is so sad that 90% of the people don't even read this sloka. And I think this is the crux of the matter, is because we should all understand what was this state of mind of Arjun in before the war starts. So what state he was in. So this sloka tells you, and then Arjun was suffering from three problems, fundamental three problems. But sloka goes like this: Tam tatha krupya vistim ashru purnat kulekshanam vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha madhusudana. So what are the problems that Arjun was going through? What problem? He says, Tam tatha krupya vistim. His heart was filled with emotions. Krupa, emotion. So he had an emotional breakdown before the war started. This is chapter 2, sloka 1. Okay. So he has emotional breakdown. Then he says, Asru Purna's collection. His eyes were teary and their eyes were constantly flowing with tears. Okay, so he has a physical breakdown. He was emotional breakdown, Krupaya Wisdom. Then he's physically breakdown because his eye constantly eye was very teary. And then Vishidantam, he was totally surrounded with Vishad, means depression. Yeah. So he has a mental breakdown. In life, nobody gets all three at the same time. Emotional breakdown, physical breakdown, mental breakdown. To that state of mind of Arjuna, Krishna rise him and tells him, Tasmat uttishta kauntaya yudhya karunishya. Get up, rise and fight. It's your duty. And he explains the entire Gita based on three, to get rid of these three issues that you face in life. Okay. So how beautiful that is. Is amazing. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's take it. I don't want to take it too.
No, so let's talk about children.
Okay.
How,
all right.
Because there we have to go even a lot lower language or a lot lower thoughts.
Yeah.
Because how do you explain the children
Yeah. So the only thing you can do to children is to tell them to read something, right? But why? How are you going to convince children to read Bhagavad Gita or Children Gita or something fundamental, understand about Upanishads, something like that? This is a true story, Rajni. I'm telling you, 30, 40 years ago, I was traveling in a plane. I used to travel a lot on plane. And I was flipping the magazine of the plane. And there I read an advertisement which was given by Michael Jordan about a Gatorade. And I think those old people like us will remember that advertisement. And the advertisement used to go like this: life is a sport, drink it up.
Drink it up. There you go.
Drink it up. Life is sport. Okay. Now, one have to ask this question, this beautiful advertisement, ask this question. If life is a sport, then what are the rules of sports called life? What are the rules? And where are we going to find it? Okay. And who is going to teach us? This is why we must read philosophical Bhagavad Gita or religious book, because that's where the rules of life is. And that's why all young adults and young kids must read, because, Rajni, today I don't think I'm not going to go in that subject. I used to ask people a question, why River Ganga is holy? Okay, and nobody could answer it. And the answer is actually beautifully, intellectually, so you can convince even the story of entire Ganga to even kids and inspire them to read the books on the philosophy. So this is, and the most important thing is this: remember, what is Gita? Actually, it tells you. So what does it teaches you if you look at it 50,000 foot level? So it teaches you to become a better person.
That's
right.
Yes.
That's right. That's a fundamental thing it does.
Fundamental, yes.
Yeah. So if it teaches you to become a better person, that means it knows the psychology of the human. So it is a book on human psychology and behavior. There is no other book written any better than on psychology of human behavior other than Gita. So that's how you got to look at Gita. That it is human behavior book, and it teaches you how to become a better person by understanding that. Okay, so that's what the kids should do. Okay, and that's what I think. We should all we should read this, because that's the only place where you will learn the rules of life. Okay.
Let me. I know you already have covered this question, because you must be knowing that my mind is that how did the Gita transform your own life?
So it is. I tell you that, like I said, this is the best book I have written. I have read on human behavior. Okay. Like I told you, you got to contemplate all each sloka and understand it and find the meaning on your own. Okay. First, you got to read the commentaries by others. Okay. I must have read Gita by many, many, many authors. Okay. But then you come back to it. I carry, there is only one book I carry. Let me show you, see whether I find it here. It was here. And even everybody, my friends used to call it Red Book. But anyway, if I find it, I'll show it to you. Otherwise, it was here, but it is somewhere, it is hidden. Oh, yeah, here it is. So it's called Red Book. I used to call it, my bosses used to call it Red Book. Sam always carry a Red Book. This is the book of Bhagavad Gita. It's an English translation. Okay. So see, Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Okay. And this is by English translation by Sri Gita Ashram, Delhi. And I got this book long time ago. Okay. And see, what I do is I put down all the important sloka at the end and keep on reading it. Whenever I find a new sloka, I just keep on adding it right here. See, the page is at full. So you must read this, contemplate on it, and then you should also read. Remember, there were so many masters. This story I want to tell you about Patanjali. Patanjali Maharaj, okay, and so if you really look, Baba Ramdev, he talks about Patanjali. Now he wrote a very important book called Yoga Sutra. Okay, so like I said, we must go deep into the fundamentals. So first we should ask the question, what is yoga means? So yoga word came from the Sanskrit root called yuj, Y-U-J. Yuj means to unite. Unite. And yoga means union. So when you do a yoga, the first question you should come and pop up in your mind is, hey, I'm doing a union. With whom? Whom I am doing a union with? Okay, him or my guru or somebody higher up, or this nature or this thing. So that's what this is yoga means. So and that should be the first question that when you do read yoga book should pop in our head, that hey, I am doing a union with someone. Okay. Now Patanjali Maharaj wrote a beautiful, no philosopher. I have read lots of philosophers in life. He's the only one who gives you how to become successful in life in one sutra. Okay. And that sutra, it goes like this. It's, I think, sutra number 17 or 13 or something. I forgot. Okay. But I remember the sutras clearly. It says, Satu Dirga Kale Nairantarye Satkar Sevati Dradbhumi. This is a sutra. It says, if you want to become successful, anything, if you want to be a stockbroker and it's successful, become a manager and successful, become a golfer and successful, tennis player and successful, anything, anywhere you want to become successful, there are 4 things you must do. First thing is Satu Dirga Kale. Whatever you want to become and whatever you want to achieve, you got to practice it for Dirga Kal, means long period of time. There is no shortcut. Okay. Right. Because this master has given the sutra in one sentence. So you got to practice that for a long period of time. Second sub word is Satu Dirga Kala Nairantarya. Nairantarya means continuous. Let's say I want to lose my weight and I do a diet. I do today and tomorrow I don't do anything. And the third day I don't do anything. That doesn't work. Continuously I got to do it. Now, this is the problem with human beings, Rajni. Right. Any human being cannot do anything for continuously in a long period of time. That's the drawback of human being. Cannot. No world philosopher has given an answer to how to get rid of this boredom when you do anything for a long period of time and continuously. he uses this third word called satkar. The true meaning of satkar, we take it as a welcome. I welcome you, okay? But the true meaning of satkar means reverence, love, prem. So whatever you want to achieve, make sure after you practice it for a long period of time and continuously, you develop a love for it, reverence for it. Slowly develop a reverence for it. And the reverence will be so great that you won't get bored. For example, Andre Agassi will never get bored hitting the balls, tennis ball. Tiger Woods would never get bored. He practices 14, 13 hours a day, and keeps it. And does he get tired? No. Because why? He loves what he does. He reveres what he does. Okay. So that's the third thing. We don't realize it, but actually that is what we are doing. The successful people, they develop this reverence. This Patanjali Maharaj has given the solution to avoid this boredom or continuous and long period of time. And the fourth thing you need is Drad Bhumi. Drad Bhumi means firm mind. He says when you do these three things, the firm mind will automatically come. I think this is why I think we must read our religious book. They are very, very powerful. Like I said, Upanishad and yoga. Yoga means union. And so these books are very, very powerful and we must read. And I can talk about Upanishad so far. Unfortunately, I did not talk anything about Upanishad. And it's amazing. But anyway, that's why we all should read it. Another thing Gita teach you. We all know Daniel Coleman wrote a very beautiful bestseller book called Emotional Intelligence. Gita teaches you how to become emotionally charged.
Right.
Okay. And he teaches you how to develop that, because the thesis of his book was this: that how come the MITs, the Harvard, the Stanford, the University of Chicago, University of Kellogg, how come all successful people, all high intellectual people, IQ people, they're not successful in life? That was the research of his book. And he comes up with the answer and he gives you a punchline. And I'm just giving you the punchline. It's not IQ that matters. It is EQ that matters the most. EQ means emotional quotient. Okay?
Right.
Gita will teach you how to create emotion, how to get rid of the emotion, when emotions are helpful, when emotions are hurtful. Believe me, I can give you an example, but I think we have talked more than half an hour. That's not good. And I think we should end this right here.
Well, thank you very much. I really appreciate, your time. And, I have learned a lot of things from you, especially about 25 years ago, first time I met to you. And, at that time, you explained me about, the sloka, Manobuddhi.
Yeah.
And so, next, lecture, I like to talk to you about, is expand that sloka, because that's again very complex, complex sloka, and it takes the whole half an hour to explain that.
Actually, we will talk. Actually, this thing I will really talk. I have given already several talks on this subject. Is called how do you do mind control? Yeah, what are the problems of mind? Okay, how do you do that? And in that, what we can talk about Manobuddhi, Ahankar, it's Adi Sankaracharya sloka. But anyway, this, I think if you can't, first of all, there is no shortcut. You have to put effort in order to be successful. Dirghakal, Nairantariya, Satkar, you got to do this. That's all it is. And you got to read sloka and contemplate on your own, come up with your own interpretation. I can tell you from my corporate life, stories after story, which are true story, and how it has helped me. But it is not the subject. I think you got the gist of it. Yeah. I hope you got the, I hope may Krishna bless you and may Krishna guide you. Please read Gita, which is very important. It will change your life.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right.